Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning into Sims Workshop. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Oh, pardon me. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Windswept by Gwen Cole. Oh, I didn't like this book. I didn't. I really didn't. And I kind of feel bad that I didn't because it was the book of the month winner, courtesy of my website voters. And if it's a book of the month winner, I do give the book a featured review. Usually I like them. I tend to select books that I go through what's coming out and I'll look at what's coming out. I'll select 10 books that I think I'm going to really like and I put them up. You guys pick this book. I didn't like it. The reason I didn't like it was because it was very unoriginal. I mean, have you seen that movie Jumper with Hayden Christensen? I love Hayden Christensen. Love him. Um, but I've never been able to sit through that movie, like, through its entirety, and it's not one where I'm just like, oh yay, it's on TV. No, I've seen bits and pieces of it. Um, but I've seen enough to know what it's about, and that's what this book is. And that's why I didn't like this book, because it felt really unoriginal. It really did. And I'm so saddened by that fact that it felt so unoriginal. And oh gosh, I really wish I liked this book. I really thought I was going to. Yeah, I was just like, I was excited. I was. No. No. Um, it was just so unoriginal, and it made me uncomfortable sometimes. And I'll obviously I'm gonna tell you why. All right, so it follows Simon Reed, who, by the way, are not the most memorable of characters. If I hadn't just gone over my notes, I would not even know their names. I wouldn't remember their names. I just simply wouldn't. Yeah, I think they're very bland and they fall into a lot of cliche tropes because Reed would basically be Hayden Christensen's character. He's what you call a drifter. What a stretch from Jumper, right? I'm trying not to be mean. I'm gonna try to bring myself in a little bit because I hate being mean when it comes to reviews, but when a book bugs me, it's so hard for me to just, you know, critique it in a polite manner. I mean, I don't see the sense in being cruel or mean about it. If I didn't like it, I didn't like it, and I don't need to make the author feel bad about it, But I just I really didn't like this book. He's basically that bad boy troublemaker, and Sam is going to fix him. That's kind of how their relationship starts a little bit. Well, no, that's wrong. He wants to be better for her. Like, we haven't seen that 1,000 times in literature. And, oh God, it bugged me so much. And the biggest problem with that in itself is the fact that, okay, I get it. You're trying to do something kind of out of the box with this novel. It was just executed poorly. Because I didn't find these characters relatable. Because they did fall into so many cliche tropes. He's the bad boy who gets caught up in something out of his depths, and she's the girl with all the power. She's the chosen one. because her mother is a drifter. No, wait. Her mother's a drifter, and her father is. So you've got two. You've got two metahuman groups, right? You've got the drifters who can move in and out of wherever, transport themselves wherever, right? Teleportation. And then you have the other groups, I forgot their names. They can stop or, no, not stop time. They can slow down time. Not stop it, but they can slow it down, right? So her parents are of both. So she has lots of power. So she's the chosen one and she has to save everyone. Okay, fine. You want to go the chosen one route? That's okay. I'm okay with the chosen one route. I mean, come on. What book doesn't have the chosen one trope? I mean, I feel like it's a very classic fantasy science fiction trope. That's kind of, it's so ingrained, it's really hard to just escape it. And so I usually don't mind it. The thing is, she had absolutely no personality whatsoever. No personality. And it really bugged me because they were very bland. I don't even remember what these characters look like. They were not memorable at all. I didn't think their voices were memorable. And the fact that she has all this power, and he kind of falls into that bad boy cliche. What also kind of bothered me, I mean, cliches aside, what bothered me was their whole dynamic. She rides the subway to school. That's okay. Oh, I did that all through elementary school when I lived in Massachusetts and in college. Rode the subway to school. It's normal. To me, it's normal. I just kind of, when you ride the subway, you kind of just pay attention to yourself. You don't really pay attention to other people. But she leaves her hat on the subway, and she noticed Reed. Of all the times, on her way home, she noticed Reed, and I think it's a little creepy that he follows her home. And first of all, that whole automatic attraction thing bugs me. That's one of my pet peeves. I know it's a lot of other pet peeves because I understand it. I do understand it. Because as humans, we look at it's just a natural instinct for us to judge by appearance first, so I get it. But it made me uncomfortable because he starts stalking her a little bit. And I don't think it's okay to romanticize stalking. I just don't. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it. It it bothered me. First their instant attraction and then the kind of stalking that he does following her home, and it made me uncomfortable, and I don't think it for me, that's how I interpreted it. I don't think it's okay to romanticize stalking. I don't think so. It made me very uncomfortable. And he admits to stalking her. I mean, I think they're, in the context of the scene, it was meant mostly as a jest when she's like, "What are you stalking me?" And he's just like, "Oh yeah, had you figure me out?" I think it was more supposed to be joking, but it didn't come off that way. It came off as very kind of creepy, stalkerish. And I wasn't a fan of it at all. I thought it just. I think the author had a lot of good ideas and a lot of other ways to bring these two characters together. I don't think the stalking was necessary for this story at all, because you could have done away with that. You could have done away with it honestly, because she does have other scenes and other ways of the universe bringing them together. So I don't think the stalking was necessary for the story. I don't think it benefited the character dynamics at all. didn't benefit the romantic interest at all, at least not for me. It did make me uncomfortable. It simply did. As for the story itself, I mean, the pace is done really well. There's nothing wrong with the pacing. There's really nothing wrong with the story other than that, what I just expressed. Other than the fact that it's unoriginal. That's it. It's not as if it's written poorly. It's not. It's written well. The pacing's done really well. I just think, definitely more work needs to be done on the characterization. And I think it could have been more original. Because right now, as it is, every time it fell into a lot of predictability. It did. There was like so many times just like knew it, called it, knew it, saw it coming. I wasn't taken by surprise and I wasn't wowed. In some instances where I'm just like, I knew it. When you kind of know something and it excites you, and then you have these other times where you're just like, knew it, where you're just kind of bored because it's that predictable. So I think the story needed more work. It just felt a lot like a first draft. It felt very dull and unoriginal. Like I said, I can't stress that enough. It was written well. It definitely, like I said, written well. Pacing was done well. I did like the tension and the rising tension. That's all done well. It just needed more ideas to make it feel more original. It needed to stray away from cliches way more, and these characters needed more personality. Once again, this goes in line with straying away from the cliches because they did fall into those cliche tropes way too often than was necessary, so it wasn't really engaging for me as a reader, and it kind of bored me at the end. So that's my opinion. You might think differently. So on that note, I'm gonna give. Pardon me. Okay, that hiccup wasn't coming. I'm gonna go ahead and give Windswept 2.5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, its biggest problem is just characterization, character dynamics, and it's unoriginal. So 2.5 out of 5 stars. Just because I didn't like it doesn't mean you will not like it. So if you're interested, I will include a link to purchase the book off of bookshop.org. If you're on the fence but you want to see what I'm talking about, go ahead and check out the book from your local library. Libraries are a great resource, definitely deserve all the support they can get. And I hope you will continue to support me by liking this video and sharing it with all your book-loving friends. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading!